Hello, everybody. Greetings from Tokyo. I thought this would be a great chance to give you a travel update. Not a lot of it is very good. Still, travel to Japan for the vast majority of the world is off limits, and there's a travel ban, meaning there's like no way you can get in. Unless you're like an expat who is a permanent resident here, who has family here, there's a way for you possibly to get back. But right now, I have a lot of friends emailing me. Yes, there's no actual travel to the vast majority of the world to here. JNTO, Japan National Tourism Organization, has a website that has a list of all the places that have been banned, have visa bans, or it's very difficult to get in. So this update is for July 13th, 2020. This is close to my Japaniversary. I've been in now, this is going into my 23rd year officially, which is pretty exciting. But it's just a shame that we got to do this from indoors. Japan has officially opened up. It was on May 25th, 2020, that the country's lockdown or state of emergency ended. It's more of a state of emergency. And since May 25th, we saw the numbers kind of stay down for COVID infections, and now it is actually skyrocketed. I want to show you a graph of the latest situation and just give you an idea of what's going on here in Tokyo. I'm pretty analog with these here. This is the first wave that you can see, probably maybe the second wave, whatever. You can get into, which wave it is or not. But you can see, I'm calling it the first one, which started in around March 15th and ended at around basically all of April and the end of May. The state of emergency was lifted on the 25th of May, and then look what happened. What worries me now, these are about 100 a day in Tokyo. What worries me now is this one right here. This one is over 200, and this is since July 9th, the numbers have been over 200 for Tokyo for the last 4 days. So it's even worse than it was in the first wave right now in Japan. So it is a worry for concern, for absolutely. Yeah, so I want to put this in perspective though. Let's put this in perspective on the whole world stage, okay? Japan is experiencing, it looks like the second wave to me. You can call it the third or the fourth, whatever, okay? This looks worse than the first one that was in April, but on the whole scale of things in the world's infections, it is just a very small amount. It's very easy for us in Japan to panic, and we should be concerned, but we should not panic. This is just, we're used to it now. We're like almost 6 months into this. So one of the reasons why there could be more cases being shown in Japan is that there's a lot more testing. There's different kinds of testing, one that uses saliva, one that uses nose swabs, one that uses, I think, blood. So this is a good thing. More testing means there's going to be more people who come down infected. There's more that we know. It's still more difficult than in the United States to get tested, but testing has improved and increased here, and that's a good thing. There's a lot of bad things that we could talk about. Let's focus on the good. So there we go. Tokyo's cumulative total reached is 7,927 infected in Tokyo, complete total in the entire city since this started. A lot of those people have recovered, and Tokyo accounts for nearly a third of the 22,600, these are numbers from a couple of days ago, confirmed cases in Japan, not including remember the cruise line, the Diamond Princess? That was, for the longest time, that was 10% of the infections came from off of that cruise ship. But now we're deep into this. The Diamond Princess seems like 100 years ago. That's how fast that this moves. This is how quickly, this is why we cannot plan a year in advance, because this thing moves in little steps of 2 weeks. We can see the changes coming here. In Tokyo, we had 580 COVID-19 patients hospitalized. Currently, there's 580 in Tokyo hospitals. 5 of them are in serious condition. So on the whole scale of things, only 5 of 580 are in serious condition. That means 575 of the 580 are being monitored and are hospitalized and are doing well. And then 5 of those people might not make it. We're not sure. Let's hope that they do. It's a very small percentage of it. There's a lot of stuff also that we have to talk about with travel here in Japan. As I started off saying that you probably can't come to visit Japan right now. There's very few countries that have access. The ones that are coming in, I don't know how they are. Special permission from a diplomat maybe. But we had in April 2,700 tourists, the lowest number until May hit, and it was 1,700 tourists, and we're about to get June's numbers to see how many tourists came in here, and it might even be less than 1,700. So that's a very significant drop from millions from last year. We had 30 million people visit Japan, and now we're down to 1,700. So we miss you. We hope that you come back really, really soon. There's a lot of stuff going on. Let me get through this really quickly. The first thing that I have to start off with saying is that domestic travel is something that is a little bit touchy even now. In Tokyo, we have a spike, as you can see on this chart, right? We're now having over 200 people. This is just Tokyo, by the way, this chart. We have now just 200 people infected, and there's now people calling saying that we should probably shut down businesses in Tokyo for a while. And there's a lot of people who are on both sides of this. Either you're in a stay home shutdown, or economy can't wait, we gotta keep this going. You're like, not many people are in the middle. I'm kind of in the middle though. I see that we cannot shut down again because Japan's in a recession. It'll be impossible to come out of it. You can't shut down. You have to take precautions. This one, it's not a free-for-all either. You still have to practice social distancing, wear a mask, and only go out when you really need to, and try to avoid vacationing a little bit, you know. But the reason why we shut down in April, we have to remember this, and this is from a Japan point of view, and this is my take on it. The reason that we shut down in March, April, and May was because the country was not ready for this at all, really. They didn't have vinyl coverings for cash registers. People working in the stores were really, really worried about their well-being. Just the country was not ready for this. And now they have alcohol pumps, they have temperature checkers, they have a procedure in place to try to make sure that this goes smoothly. Now that we're in a second wave here, that doesn't mean we have to stop wearing masks and social distance. More than ever, we need to keep that up here in Japan. But you can't not go out now and do things that you need to do that maybe we couldn't do when we were locked down. Because unless there's a vaccine, there's no way to stop the spread of this. And this is just a fact. Japan was the first country to hit recession. And we would do very poorly if we did not go out and just do stuff. Which brings me to number one, Tokyo Disneyland is reopened. And we're going to talk with Spencer a little bit about this. He's standing by. And number two, there's a 50% off domestic travel campaign. Meaning, if you are here in Japan, starting from July 22nd all the way till September, you're going to be able to travel for 50% off. Meaning the Shinkansen is on sale. And that's a good thing because I've been paying full price. And all of you tourists coming in here with the Japan Rail Pass, absolutely, it's not fair at all. Tokyo Disneyland, let's talk about that first. So Tokyo Disneyland has actually a video, and I put the link in the description. Bradshaw Studio, hello, Thunderbeard, konnichiwa. Day's been pretty good. Zato71 from Australia, thank you. Mr. Das is in the house. TP money or beer. TP for my bumble. Eugene Holbert, thank you. I like Pearman. Oh, and here we got here, Ando 1135. Safe to say applying for English teaching jobs as an American is on pause. I would say that it's going to be very difficult I'll talk to you about that, people who need to be coming to Japan, in about 10-15 minutes from now. Thanks for asking that. So Tokyo Disneyland has actually released a video, and I put a link in the description here. You can see what the procedures that they put in place to try to keep people safe. Now this is paramount. This is why we are reopening, because we're reopening not because that this is all gone, right? The coronavirus is still here. We're opening because now we have procedures and safety measures in place, and the public understands a little bit more. They should understand a lot more about this and be wearing masks and still social distancing, which really reduces the chance of transmission. So let me see if I can get to this video here. So the Tokyo Disneyland video, there's a link in the description. Let's just go straight into our phone call with the man on the other side. Solaires. Let's see if we can get him on the line here. He's Tokyo Disneyland TDR planning, I believe. There he is. How's the audio? It's hard for me to get here. Hold on a second. Can you hear me now? Oh, we got this is Solaires here. He's our man on the ground here for Tokyo Disneyland, but we don't have any audio yet. I wonder what the problem is here. Audio. It's like a speaker thing. Input activity. I don't know. We'll try to work on the audio here. It should be on speaker. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. All right, we'll keep trying. We'll keep trying. I can't hear you. All right. Oh, I'm on this side. Yeah. So the state of emergency was lifted on May 25th, and since then we've been seeing a spike. Tokyo Disneyland is open. If you look at, he's on mute. It could be. Are you on mute, Spencer? Spencer, you on mute? I can't hear anything, Spencer. I'm on mute now. Okay, Spencer cut out. All right, we'll try again later. Spencer, just call me back when you figure out he's definitely on mute. Call me back when you're not on mute anymore. Okay? We need this update. This is important. Call me on Discord. You're on speaker now. The video is pretty interesting. What they've done is actually created circles on the ground around Tokyo Disneyland where people can wait. However, the tickets for Tokyo Disneyland are the same, 8,200 yen. The problem is that it's all sold out. I tried to get tickets online yesterday. I could not. The day that they open, and they only take reservations 3 months in advance, the day that they open up the next day, you have to go online and get the tickets and really, really quickly. And the servers sometimes shut down because the demand is so high. So getting Tokyo Disneyland tickets is like really, really hard. It's sold out until October. I checked. And there's a limited amount because they're trying to keep the social distancing and the spacing there. Hold on a second. So there you go. Attractions that have opened. Tokyo Disneyland opened on June 30th, 2020. And if you want to try for October, you still might be able to get tickets. October 13th is not open yet. Yeah. I still can't hear you. I still can't hear you. You're on mute or something. Because you're on speakerphone, I should be able to hear you. Yeah, volume's up. I gotta keep going, Spence. Tickets will be available again tomorrow, every day, but you're looking at October. Nippon Professional Baseball opened up on June 19th, 2020. Stadium attendance went from 1,000 to 5,000 last week, despite the spike. So this is something that is very important that I need to explain to you in great detail. Japan has a plan, and they're going to gradually reopen a lot of these events. And it started off with 100, then 1,000, and now we're up to 5,000 per stadium. That means baseball games that are televised now had 1,000 people until about two or 3 days ago. Then they increased it to 5,000, and now when people applaud, you can actually hear them in the background. It's kind of neat now. It was pretty sad before. So Japan baseball is back on, 5,000 people in the stadium, which is a significant amount of people compared to a few days ago. This is pretty interesting. The Sanja Matsuri, which is the festival in Asakusa, where like the Yakuza are out there in the parade. It's one of the most vibrant festivals in Japan, and it's very crowded. They didn't cancel the event for 2020. They suspended it, and it's currently expected to be held October 16th to October 18th, 2020. 3 days in October, the middle of October. So they've delayed it from March 15th to October 16th. And it still could be canceled, but it's interesting that they moved it to October. So let's hope that we've got some sort of vaccine or something, because I would love to see the Sanja Matsuri back. The Nagoya Grand Tournament, sumo tournament, from July 19th to August 2nd has been moved to Tokyo. All right? It's been moved to Tokyo this year to when the Olympics were supposed to be here. So I guess all of the venues are now available because the Olympics were moved to 2021. So the Nagoya, which is another city, Grand Sumo Tournament will be in Tokyo. That starts on July 19th. So it's going to be good, something interesting to watch on TV. I don't know if they'll have spectators or not. This one really made me feel really good. I was in Hokkaido in February, and I saw the news that they were opening up a new National Ainu Museum. Ainu are the indigenous people of Hokkaido that had seen some discrimination, a lot of discrimination and displacement, and it's been pretty hard for people in Ainu in the 20th century. And they just finished the Ainu Museum in Shiraui, which is just north of Noboribetsu, and they'd suspended the opening of the new National Ainu Museum for months because of the pandemic, and it just opened yesterday, on Sunday. And that's kind of a good thing. I'm really happy about that, and I'm looking forward to going up there and taking it out. It's a beautiful new museum. I went to this museum in 2017 in a live stream, and it was not a good museum to go to. They had bears in cages and dogs in cages, and they showed a little bit of the culture, but it could have been better done. And now I think that they've done a much better job with it. Yeah, so there you go. That's some of the events. A lot of the things are reopened here in Japan, but again, like, staff has face shields and masks. You have to wash your hands with alcohol when you enter. And you also need to have a temperature check, either here or here, very often. They also have cameras that will detect your temperature. And without that, it becomes... I still can't hear you. Yeah, I can't hear you. It's on speakerphone on my end. Can you hear me? Maybe it's my fault. Spencer was our big guest for today. Based on voice activity. It looks like I'm good. I don't know. Just keep talking. I'm in the middle of a live stream, man. We're out of luck. I can't do both. This is the part that's hard now. Despite the fact that Japan is reopening the country, and it's very exciting for me. Last week I went to Kanazawa to film. I was invited by Kanazawa to come and make the episodes that I wanted to make, and it was a great trip. But I know that there's a lot of places in Japan that have "Don't Come Here" campaigns, and I can understand that completely. Especially right now in Tokyo, because things are pretty bad here. worse than in April. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to be traveling around the country, but at the same time, we cannot, here's the thing, okay? Let me tell you both sides of it. On their side, I completely understand why would you want people that can bring a sickness in from their area to another area. It's really, really bad. So I think non-essential travel or travel that's not work related, we should not be taking vacations right now, maybe. That's my feeling. On the flip side of that, I no longer can take government handouts. The country is in a recession. It's getting worse. They don't have any money. But in order to keep people going and alive, they're giving $1,000 to people as a stimulus, $10,000 to some businesses. We got to find a way to be able to manage on our own now and live with this. We're going to have to live with this. So don't come here. I think it's a good campaign. Don't come here on vacation right now as there's a spike. But if you have to do work and you have to get stuff done, like this is part of my job and I'm being invited by these areas, I have to do this because it's not vacation for me. And to the man who said that, how dare you ask people for money because you're just going around taking a vacation, has no idea how much work I put into to making the show. You have no idea. Like I'm up until the middle of the night editing, re-editing, writing scripts, calling people, meetings, Zoom meetings on location shoots. This is a job, okay, for me to travel around the country and tell these stories, and I take it as such. I take it seriously. So I will have to continue traveling despite the pandemic, either by rent-a-car or even on Shinkansen. Just find a way to maintain this because no longer can I be taking money. And no longer should the government be giving money out for people who are affected by this. There's just nothing to give out. We have to find a way to manage. And I believe that the businesses are doing a really good job of innovating. I went down to a scarf company, a silk scarf company that they're making masks. In Kanazawa, I saw a lot of businesses that have changed a little bit, more takeout. Hotels are changing the style. Instead of breakfast buffets, they have bentos. So they're finding ways to keep people safe in this economy. We cannot rely on government money for free and just stay at home. It's no longer an option. You have to telework, avoid essential travel. I can tell you this 100 times. For some people, it's just not going to sink in. But I got to keep going out and making the show. We stayed in for 2-3 months because it gave the government and businesses time to get ready for this kind of travel. And now that we are ready for it, we're going to have to go out there, and it's not risk-free. There's nothing in life is risk-free. You're talking to somebody who hitchhiked the country. I hitchhiked the entire country, all right? I might come down with it. I don't know, but I got to keep working. We got to keep working. And compared in the worldwide, Japan is nowhere near as tough as the rest of the world. So some of the things that I have to tell you. The Go To Travel campaign, I have the notes right here. Go To Travel campaign starts on July 22nd to help virus hit tourism. A lot of you remember I went to Fujinomiya, a place I used to live, by rent-a-car in May. And a lot of people were upset because they said, why are you going there from Tokyo? Please don't come here. That was one side. The other side, the people that we bought things from, it wasn't even a lot, were so ecstatic and so helpful and saw some I don't know. It just was good for them to see that they could start business again. There's two sides to every story. This one is a really tough one. So we didn't travel again for a long time after that trip to Fujinomiya, but now we're back again. So there's two sides to it. So this campaign starts on July 22nd. It's called the Go To Travel campaign, very original. Will eventually subsidize up to half the expenses, including accommodation and transport fees. This is incredible. Already on the news, we've seen that the Shinkansen is going to be 50% off, which is incredible. 50% off Shinkansen tickets. The caveat here in the asterisk is that the Shinkansen tickets for this campaign have to be bought a month in advance, I believe. So that's the news that I'm getting. You can't just jump on it and get a 50% off ticket. You have to buy these tickets a month in advance. And for me, that's really hard because I just travel like this. When I get a call, come and cover this story next week, I got to go there. So it's very hard to do a month in advance. That's a vacation. That's not business. So this Go To Travel campaign, Starts on July 22nd and runs until September. Let me see here. It'll subsidize accommodations, transport fees. I believe some attractions prices will go down and be subsidized by the government. And with the government initially providing discounts worth 35% of the total costs. So in the end, this will become clearer in the next update, I believe. But it's pretty neat that domestic travel will see these. And this is, all right, here's some more information. The central government will subsidize up to 20,000 yen per person for each overnight stay. So you can stay at classier hotels and get more money back, but it still costs you more to stay there. And 10,000 yen for day trips, including transportation costs. That's pretty neat. If you book before this and it's in the period, they will give you your money back. You can apply to get the money in another way. So if you don't get it on the front, you can get it on the back. Yeah. The flip side, should Tokyoites, people from Chiba, Kanagawa, Saitama, be traveling at all? I can understand how local people will feel. And it's not a clear answer. People need the local areas need the business, but also people should be more mindful of it too, because the countryside is not set up the same way Tokyo is, with vinyl sheets, temperature checkers, and all these other things. The government may ask Tokyo and neighboring prefectures Kanagawa, Saitama, Chiba to make business suspension requests during the extended. So before now and the 22nd, some businesses may shut down for a period of time to try to ease the spike. To avoid a situation, this comes from Minister Nishimura, to avoid a situation where people flow into 3 prefectures if they cannot go out in Tokyo, it would be important for whole Tokyo metropolitan area to take steps in an integrated manner. We have to think about business suspension requests as we monitor the infectious situation. The vast majority of infections right now are people 30 and under, especially in their 20s, who are not following safety precautions. They're not wearing masks in groups. They're taking it off for karaoke or whatever, talking with their friends, and they're meeting with their friends. They can't, they're no longer in the mode in April anymore. They're now in May and June. They're now in like summer mode. Those are where the transmissions are coming from. It's not coming from me. I'm 46. I don't like people. I love people. I don't like people. But I'm not like talking with people. I don't need to meet my friends. I have a wife. We just stay home, watch Netflix. We're cool with that. I think she's cool with that. The point is, though, I don't need to meet a bunch of my friends. And if you're like 20, you're meeting friends and hanging out and drinking and coughing all over each other. That's where the infections are coming from. That and nightlife, which is the other one. Hostess clubs and bars should probably close at like 9 p.m. as well. There's no reason that, dudes should be out there drinking anyways right now. Just go to a park or stay outside. Don't go into the bars. We need to keep the bars afloat business-wise, but right now, those are where the majority of infections are happening. That's why we have this spike. So we're going to be penalizing people who are following the rules because some people who can't, young people, looking at you. I see you on the other side, young people. Just wear your mask and stay home with your parents and watch Netflix or Hulu. Amazon Prime. Pick one. YouTube. All right. Please don't come here. This was a tag right here in the middle that people were. This is a tag that was on some videos, especially in Okinawa, people saying, just please don't come here. The central government campaign to spur domestic tourism has drawn both enthusiasm and ire, with some social media users telling urbanites to stay away from rural areas after COVID-19 cases hit record high in Tokyo. If I was living in Okinawa, I would not be really happy to have people coming to visit either. Let's be honest. I feel for them. The government aims to subsidize as much as half of eligible domestic travel costs. Blah blah blah. Tourism Minister Kazuyoshi Akaba announced Friday that the campaign would be moved forward from August. So they're gonna be doing this campaign whether the countryside wants it or not. Adding that the government is aware, despite the impact of the coronavirus crisis, people have passionate expectations for travel. That's kind of insensitive. Despite the government's push, "Please don't come here" was a common theme in tweets from those outside the capital. Other questions whether official assurances that the health system still has room to handle new cases would still apply if infections spread outside major cities. If Tokyo can handle the infections, they're doing a pretty good job of it, and there's actually a lot of hospitals are not nowhere near capacity. Some are very close to it. But the countryside cannot. And this is something that was a problem in Okinawa, where they had people from Tokyo coming there and becoming infected. And Ishigaki-jima, for example, was not prepared for something like this. And they shut down really quick. And now they're opened up for tourism. It's going to be really hard for them. So I hope that the government can help the local areas now to make sure they have the equipment if somebody were to get sick to handle that. But don't worry, the market in Japan, this is the part where we get to the humor part of it, right? The businesses in Japan find a way to innovate, and there have been some really good innovations, cardboard homes or partitions. So we saw this in an update about 2 months ago. A company in Mie Prefecture had created like these plastic bubbles that you can sleep in with a ventilator air thing that goes outside into the window so you don't infect people in your house because Japanese homes are pretty small. Well, they've also now devised cardboard partitions. So now you can divide your house living room into partitions depending on who is sick and whatnot. It's kind of neat to be living in a cardboard fort. And these things cost about $150. Let me see if I can get some pictures here. They're about $150, and they look pretty cool. Here's a picture of one. So you can set this up in your house, or you can just buy cardboard boxes and get some tape. But it's more professional. It's more professional when it's purchased, right? There it is in the gymnasium. It's pretty creative, right? They even have cardboard desks. This is pretty. Look at that. So if you're sick, that guy looks pretty healthy. So if you're sick, you can still kind of live inside these boxes. This looks pretty convenient. This looks pretty convenient. There's curtains in there. So life doesn't look too bad. They've also some companies have come up with cardboard boxes that you can put on top of your head. Let me see if I can get a picture of that. It was pretty freaky. Basically, okay, this one is kind of a funny story. Do you see this one here? Masks have evolved to LED colors, so you can change the color of your mask. I'll put a link in the description if you're interested in one of these. But LED masks is a new thing. Just saying. That would be pretty cool. I have to try to find some of these. They also have masks that the Hostess Club workers are wearing. I think I shared that in the last one. Dan from Canada, thanks John and Kanai. Thank you, Dan. Cryo Flames. I wish the US was as proactive as Japan. I want to be able to go back to Japan, but it doesn't look like it will happen soon. It does not. Rod Starr from Canada, thank you. Cheryl Phillips, thank you. Sharma Shari. WRX Turbo's in the house. You can always feel his presence when it turns orange. Thomas Jiang, thank you. And Deepa Mango Garan, thank you. Jennifer French is here. Thanks for these travel updates. You're welcome. Ando 1135. I'm going to get to that in a second. Yeah, so I'm looking into getting these cardboard helmet shields. It's literally like a cardboard box with a viewer cut out of it, and it keeps you from getting infected. And we might wear that on the airplane. I thought that'd be cool if you had to. They only come in orders of 100. You can't order just like 10 or 5. You have to order 100 of them. So it's about $100, $150. Yeah. There you go. It's cardboard Ultraman. I know. I'm trying to find a picture of it. So these are some funny things that are happening in Japan. People are innovating. They're finding ways to get through this pandemic and come up with all-in-one tents are on the rise. And this is coming from Sora News, which is a pretty interesting news site. I've been watching them for a long time. Sora News 24. So shout out to Sora News. Yeah. Now it comes to the time where I take some of your questions, but I also want to hit. Sora News is pretty funny. I also want to hit here. If you have a work visa to come to Japan, I want you to call the embassy right now, and then call it again like a week before you're supposed to leave on whether or not that visa is still applicable. So you might have a flight ticket. Probably the airline when you get there is not going to let you on the airplane because right now a lot of the visas have been canceled and there's very few people that are allowed entry in. So please call the embassy. Please call the people that hired you to work to also ask, because all the visas that allowed you to work in Japan might not be applicable. You really have to confirm this stuff, like double and triple confirm, okay? And make sure you get the name of the person you talk to, and if you can, get them to fax or email you a confirmation. That's even better, because if you get to Japan and they look at it and said, sorry, you're not allowed here, you got to get back on an airplane and come back. Get something with somebody's name and telephone number, and then when you come to Japan and if they say to you that you can't enter, you can give them the embassy guy's name and phone number, and you can tell them when you talk to them, and then they'll call the embassy and get the latest information, because this stuff changes every single day, and one agency might have the information and the other agency might not. And it doesn't always match that well, even in the age of the internet. So I want you to make sure that you get confirmation not once or twice, but 3 times. Call the embassy, call your employer. If you have a visa through them, a COE, certificate of eligibility, if you have that, make sure that it's still valid. You might have gotten it 2 months ago, and that might not be valid anymore. It might have been invalidated because of the pandemic. There are certain countries where that has happened. So I want you to double and triple check. And I do hope that very soon, if you have something for September, and there's a lot of people who have work visas starting up in September, I cannot guarantee, and nor should I, but I don't think that you might not be allowed in. That's how I feel. They only just now started to let people who are like permanent residents back into Japan. And if you're not a permanent resident and you're just coming for work, it's going to be really hard for you to come in. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask me. I want to know how much that mask will cost, Christopher. So the masks that are cardboard box helmet shields cost about $150 for 100 of them. You can only buy them in orders of 100. These masks are PETA masks. They're about like $5 for 3. And silk masks cost you about $12 that I had for each one. And yeah, just depends case by case. A lot of makers are making masks just as a way to support their businesses. Nishi, Kanai, what's that? The futon maker, Nishi, futon maker. Nishimura kana? I don't think it's Nishimura. The futon maker is making masks. They have all this polyester and materials to make futon. Nishikawa, yeah. Nishikawa is making masks too on the same materials that they use futon from, make the futon from. So I think that that's kind of unique to see that people who are in the production and electronics business are making masks, because that's something that's very sellable right now, and that's where the market is. All right, thanks for these questions here. Misty writes in here, husband works for a school district and management refuses to wear masks. Cal is a mess, no courtesy for the other person. Hope something changes. If you're being told, if people are not wearing a mask, it's just dumb, okay? We all know that the science behind it is that wearing a mask reduces droplets, which reduces the time that it stays in the air, because this is airborne. There were calls for scientists to make the WHO change its status because it's outdated from like March on how contagious there is. There's a reason why over 3 million Americans have this, all right? And there's a reason why, like in Japan, what's the number? Like 22,000 versus 3 million. Japan has about half the population, maybe a little bit less than half the population as the US. Japan has 22,000. The US has over 3 million. The reason why is masks and social distancing. You can't social distance without a mask. It doesn't make any difference. If you sneeze, that's going all over the place. It doesn't take a lot for you to get it on you and in your eyes and your nose and your mouth, just a little bit. 14 days later, you have a baby. It's not a good one. So anyone who's not wearing masks, stay the heck away from them and just get out of there. And no business should be allowing people into a place that is poorly ventilated without one. It's just dangerous, and it's not good, and it's not a political issue. It's a scientific issue, all right? It's not a political issue. The freedom, not in a pandemic, David Moore. This is a completely different thing. In wartime, you don't have the same kind of freedoms as you typically do. And it goes in this. It comes into protecting the people around you. It can be considered, and I think that laws need to be passed here, but like, I'm seeing, like, I've never seen this before, and this would never happen in Japan, going into like a Costco and threatening to cough on somebody because you're frustrated. Like, this goes along the lines of if you have some sort of disease that you know about and it's like attempted like assault or something. There's laws to protect people too. And in a pandemic, laws should be changed. There's no right not to wear a mask. I think businesses have the right to not allow people entry. In Japan, there are people who aren't wearing masks, but those people are very rare, and societal pressures in Japan are so strong that they pretty much make you wear masks. And as somebody who lives here, as a foreigner, I'm always under the microscope. People are always looking at me because they're curious or they're interested or I look different. It's just a fact. So I'm doubly careful. I try to be doubly careful with making sure I have a mask on in public because I know that I have to give an example because there's a lot of foreigners that aren't wearing masks. There's a lot of Japanese not wearing masks too. If you're in a crowded place, in a store, in public transportation, you should wear a mask. I don't know. Yeah. It's a cultural difference. I don't know about that. I tried my first time yesterday ramen in our local Chinese in Northern Ireland. Wow. Trying ramen for the first time. That's like a new experience. When it's not instant ramen, Christopher, it's completely different, right? It's so good. Yeah. Wearing the mask is not about protecting yourself, it's about protecting the other people. If 80% of Americans wore masks, the number of infections would be like the same as Japan, like 30,000. Seriously. All right. It's science. Thunderbeard, glad Australia is dealing with it as we don't have 10,000 current cases. Australia is a lot more spread out with a smaller population, but Sydney, I can see Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane and Adelaide. People have done a pretty good job of keeping it civil and trying to protect one another. So Australia is a pretty good example of success. New Zealand as well. The population isn't quite the same, but it really is a success story. We hope that we can travel to Australia soon. Hey John, I was supposed to visit in April from Introverted Otaku, but was able to get everything refunded luckily, hoping for next spring. Been a viewer since 2014. Don Quixote with Peter. He says he does wear those underwear every now and then. Yeah, a lot of trips were canceled. I cannot say what for sure, but I'm guessing next spring probably will be open. Right now they say that they're taking in 250 visitors a day. I don't believe those numbers. I think that a lot of those planes are empty or just carrying mail. Right now, international mail is still international mail is not being sent to many countries right now. Australia has closed international mail for 3 months now. Marty knows all about that. But I sent C-mail packages. This is something for expats here living here. I sent packages by airmail to the United States in April, and I sent C packages in May. On the same day, the airmail packages from April arrived with the C-mail packages in the United States from May. The C-mail beat the airmail because there are so few airplanes going to all of these destinations around the world. C-mail, and C-mail is by ship, because surface mail, young people were asking, what is C-mail? C-mail is how mail used to be sent before, airplanes carried most of it. And it takes 10 days to cross the Pacific from Japan by cargo ship, and a few days on and off. So conceivably it could take less than a month by sea mail, where airmail is now taking 3 months. So sea mail works. It really does work, and it feels pretty cool when it gets across there. I didn't say she-mail. Shoki, she-mail, no, C-mail, not she-mail, C-mail, C-mail. Marty, it's coming, Marty. I might have eaten most of yours though, but I'm gonna really, put new stuff in. I'll put new stuff in, Marty. You're getting new stuff, Marty. It's special, all right? Don't worry. Stop calling it she-mail, internet. I'm looking right at you. It's surface mail. There. It's easy to understand. She-mail. Who are you, these people? Snail mail. Exactly. No, snail mail is by air. Sea mail is like slug mail. It doesn't even move, but it does. It does. All right, I got 1 more minute for questions here. Land mail. But land mail goes by sea. That's not land. Ocean mail. But ocean mail is picked up by cranes when it gets to the land. That's why we call it surface. Sea mail goes by ship. She-mail by John. No! Guys, give me a thumbs up if you like these updates from Japan. I'm not going to politicize masks here. Wear masks. Just wear it when you're in public or you leave the house. What are the predicted policies of international travel to Japan for October, November, December? Predicted is the key word, Dark Zaku. Predicted. Right now, I don't see it. The United States very much is the driver of traffic to Japan. And the U.S., the line is still going up. And in fact, the last 2 weeks, the line is going up even more. I didn't think the line would go up more. I'm quite worried about people back home. I'm worried that we can't go back home for Christmas. We're gonna miss the holidays. People, the not wearing the mask thing it's a big thing, and I was really disappointed when I see politicians not wearing the masks. And it's not a political issue, everybody. This is something that's just scientifically proven. Social distancing and masks cut it down. All right, it's not political. It's science. Gerald and Marty, thank you. They thumbs up that. You can agree with, you can disagree with me too. It's okay, but you shouldn't. You shouldn't. John Kimura, thank you. Wear your masks, absolutely. I'm getting frustrated with this voice message on my YouTube chat. What do you mean? I got a trip planned for October 25th to the 5th of November. Do you think I have a shot? What country are you from? If you're gonna ask if you have a shot, you have to tell me where you're from. In the United States, I say there's no shot. It's very limited because the infection rate is not even going down. It's like, it goes like this and then this. And it looks really not good right now for the US. They're talking about the Olympics and whether or not that's going to be held, but 1 year is an eternity in a pandemic. A year is an eternity. We just don't know. But unless people are wearing masks, I just keep harping this because it's so true. Tell people, you know what? Bring extra masks, and if somebody doesn't have one, then give it to them. Just, Jim Mendenthal, thanks. I appreciate that. It's tough to keep having to say this. Malaysia's handling it well. Carry extras, carry spares. Somebody should write a song on this. Yeah, hopefully the data will flatten out. KT Chu, love the passion for Japan. You and your wife, you stay safe. Aloha. Hey, King! There's King! We love King. J Jersey girl, aloha, King. I couldn't go home to New Jersey to visit my family because of the spikes. I know. And you live in Utah. Oh, man. I live in Japan and I have family in New Jersey. There's no way I'm going to be able to go back then. If you can't go from the West Coast to the East Coast, there's no way that I'm going to be able to go to the U.S. for Christmas. And this ruins our New York City meetup I was planning on doing as well. And I wanted to go. Kanai and I were going to be going to the East Coast in the U.S. We were going to rent a car and go from Washington State down towards Arizona and see the West Coast and the Midwest, Southwest. And we had to cancel, of course, but it's really, really tough. Private jet is the way. That's a big super chat. There's no way that'll happen. There's no way I can do private jet. No, I can't do that. If I traveled, I don't even think I would feel safe in economy. However, a buddy of mine flew back to Canada last month. It's been a month now. There's a picture of me in Narita Airport where there's nobody there. I was going like this. If you take flights from Japan to other countries, you have to go through a 14-day quarantine. He had a 14-day quarantine in Canada, but he flew business class. He didn't need to. Economy, there were only 3 people in the entire plane. He flew business class anyways. I guess he liked the food. I don't know. But there are only 3 people on the entire Air Canada plane. So it's pretty safe to fly international. But when you arrive, you have a 14-day quarantine right now, even if you get into the country. He rented an Airbnb, did a 14-day quarantine. It was fine. Didn't get anything on the flight over. This is really tough times. 116 degrees in Phoenix today will not make wearing a mask very good. It's best probably just to stay home, guy, until this, and stay cool. You don't have to wear a mask in your house, but when you go out, you really do have to wear a mask. Gosh, that's so hot. I can't even imagine Phoenix. Whew. All right, so just to reiterate the news for those that are still watching, this is the graph for Tokyo. You can see the spike on July 9th is greater than anything in April. And we might have another closure. We're not sure. I don't think so because we're in a recession and businesses are prepared for it. It's up to people to stay away from each other and wear a mask and social distance. That's all it is. You can't shut down anymore. You have to put the faith in people that they're going to be responsible, and you're going to have to just stay home and do what makes you feel comfortable. But right now, Japan is seeing a tough time, but it's nowhere near the same as the United States. The numbers are like completely different. So the worry is real in the U.S. But I want you all to think about this, okay? When you see me live streaming or making an episode in another part of the country, the situation in other places in the world is not the same as the United States. It is okay for us to travel around Japan right now, only not for holiday. I don't consider what I do a holiday. What I do is work. And if you see me live streaming or bringing an episode from another area, I was mostly invited to go there. Or I have permission and have called ahead. It's a job for me. I want you to understand that. I'm not traveling as a vacation without a reservation. I have reservations to film. When I went to Kanazawa, we had reservations for everything, and they knew we were coming, and they knew we were from Tokyo and everything. So I want you to understand that. Don't try to be an armchair detective and tell us that we're doing it wrong. We're doing it the right way. You might have your own reservations. I understand that. Respect that. That's good. but we're doing everything we can to keep ourselves and keep other people safe. And that means we have to keep working, and we have to keep, and we're not taking any more government money. We can't. Preach! Yeah, sometimes you have to understand. Innovate. Have to go from New Zealand. Okay, thanks for tuning in. So we hit the 1 hour mark. That's all I had to do here. Man, who said that the craziness against... Who said that? There's a lot of craziness. Alicia, there's a lot of craziness. There's a lot of craziness. I'm really worried about you in the United States. It's really bad. And I want you to just stay safe. And we're thinking about you all because we talked to our family on the other side. We're worried about them as well. You can't come to Japan yet, but we hope that maybe in the fall, there's a chance that travel will continue, but travel from the USA is very much dependent on whether or not the US can get the levels down. And right now it's still going up, and that means 3 months from now we'll reevaluate, but there's no travel from the US to here for 3 months. So that's July, August, September, October. We'll talk about October in October. But right now, there's no travel from the US until October, I think, because it's still going up. Unfiltered, honest opinion there. Other states in the US has banned travelers from Los Angeles. Wow. Regional stuff. Yeah, there's so many people. Ray's shoes. Unfortunately, here in the States, job losses are too high and millions need unemployment just to avoid homelessness. Yeah, there's not much you can do. You have to find a way to innovate. You have to find a way to stay afloat. Not every person has that creative ability to be able to find a way to survive in this market. We've seen a reduction in income. YouTube revenue, I'm not complaining at all. We're going to be okay. But YouTube ad revenue is way down. And we're, the memberships and things like this find a way to help. We're going to NPO Florence. Yeah, we're going to the charity where all of the membership fees from June are going to this charity. We're going to go over there. We're riding our bicycles to go meet with them and to find out what they do with the charity money and how we can help them. And I think that's really good. Thank you so much for being a member. We have we raised about $650 through the memberships. And Kanai and I, we got some super chats that we dedicated for this cause. And we're also putting in our money into the kitty as well to make this an even about $1,000 even, so that we can give this to the charity. And they're helping kids that are impacted by COVID-19 or families that are struggling as a result of this, that need that help. And I think that that's really a good charity. NPO Florence is what it's called in Jimbocho. We're riding our bikes over there now. So thanks for being a member. I want to do some good things with the membership money here. This is not a cash grab. This is a way we can help our community. I'm putting it back into local businesses. I think that if you cannot come to Japan to help yourself, being a member is a way that you can help. And you get some emoji. You get some cool emoji. And it does, and to be honest with you, it makes me feel pretty good to be able to do something like this too. That might be a selfish thing, but if we can help other people, that makes us feel positive, and it's a little bit of something that's positive in a world that's so negative these days. So thank you, seriously, from the bottom of our hearts. Kanai's over there working for being a member. We're going to be doing more of these things, more of these supporting local businesses with the membership fees here. Off of YouTube, so thank you for that. Whew. Okay, have a good day, have a good night, wherever you are in the world. Thanks so much for the questions. I'll try to do a live stream from Tokyo Disneyland. I can't go in, but I can go on the outside and show you what it's like, the procedures to get in. Probably we'll be going, Spencer, if you're watching, probably sometime this week, I'm going to make a trip over to Tokyo Disneyland to film on the outside and give you an update on what the reopening is like and what people feel that are going to be going into Tokyo Disneyland. Are they nervous? Are they excited? How do people feel, and how do people prepare to go into Tokyo Disneyland? I'm very interested to know about this. I'll take you there in a live stream, so make sure you subscribe to Only Japan Go, And the new episode on the John Dobb Only in Japan channel it's done. I'm probably gonna wait until tonight to release it, which is Monday morning. But I want you to know that it's done, and it's pretty interesting, and it's about 20 minutes long. So this is gonna be a very good first episode. Have a good night, everybody. Good day. Thanks for the support. I'll see you maybe at NPO Florence. I might do a Strovi for that one. But again, thank you for the support, and see you soon. Stay safe, please.